Next up, we have Team Solace.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Trevon Charles, and I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm the product manager and front-end developer for Solace. And these are my team members, Nick, Mohammed, and Raven. And I'd like to introduce you all to Solace, a web platform designed to address the specific needs of individuals and communities that are at risk of a natural disaster or hazard. The aftermath of a natural disaster can be absolutely detrimental and not only lead to families being homeless, shortages of foods, but also a negative impact on the economy. And this leaves people impacted by natural disasters vulnerable in need of support. Our app addresses these challenges by providing a centralized platform that provides comprehensive information on natural hazards, real-time updates, and alerts. And by raising awareness, it helps users understand the risks and take appropriate measures to respond to these disasters. Our mission at Solace is to create a sense of security in response to our increasing number of natural disasters. And as you can see here, this is how I helped build this user experience to achieve my mission. I wanted to allow users to browse through an entire interactive and dynamic virtual globe to look for natural events so that they can engage with them. And I achieved this by using NASA's Earth Observatory Natural Event Tracker to precisely locate natural disasters and implement that data onto a map using the Mapbox API. This allows users to explore the map and learn about specific areas at risk and access detailed information about the types of hazards that they may face, thus ensuring users stay informed about any developing situations and allow them to take necessary precautions. And in this diagram, I have a 3-step process for finding the data, using data, and running that data into a React component. The first step is getting the data, which requires data fetching to retrieve from the NASA API, and then storing that data into a component or a variable. The next step is using that data, which is now fetched, to manipulate it and process it as needed through multiple calculations and data manipulations into a desired format. And the last step is to render that data. Now that it's processed, it can be rendered dynamically into JavaScript React using various methods. And each item is rendered as a separate element with its properties displayed and then rendered on the map, which is interactive and dynamic.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicolás Nùñez Baez. I was born in Washington, D.C. My family's from the Dominican Republic, and I currently live in Brooklyn, New York. And I was the Scrum Master and backend developer for this project. The user story that I was tasked to implement was the user being able to view information about an active natural disaster, as well as seeing which users are at risk of being impacted by the natural disaster. I implemented this by fetching the active natural disasters from the National Weather Service API, as well as a list of users that have an account with our site. From there, I used an external JavaScript library called turf.js to determine whether or not a user is inside the affected area of every natural disaster. This information is then sent to the front end to be rendered. The impact of this feature is the user feeling connected and being able to care for the community, even over long distances. And here we have a clear diagram of how this works exactly. First, a request is sent to our backend for events and users that are nearby each event. Our backend recognizes a request by hitting an endpoint we labeled as /events. Once our backend knows what's being requested, SQL is used to pull out the necessary data, which is a list of every user and another list of every event. Then using the functionalities provided by turf.js, we are able to compare each user's location to the location of each event to determine if they are in danger or not. From this process, we are able to get a list of every event and a list of users close to that event. This data is then sent to the front end to be rendered.
Hi, my name is Raven Parker. My family is from Puerto Rico, but I was born and raised in New York City and currently reside in Brooklyn. I'm a front-end developer for Solace. For our product, it's crucial that users are able to see others that are at risk of being affected by a natural disaster. To implement this, I was challenged with displaying the user safe status on our users page. I used React to set the user status on each card. The status update fetches from our backend API/users endpoint to get which users are unsafe, pulling from the safe column in our database. This enables a connection between the current user and other unsafe users, which is especially important for friends the user has added, as it'll directly allow the user to see which friends are affected first in the event of a natural disaster. Overall, the impact that this has is it creates a sense of connection and safety since all users can check on each other. So first, the user could see the list of friends on our friends and users page, and then they can add other people. And then from there, they'll be able to see which friends are at risk of a natural disaster first.
Good afternoon. My name is Mohammed Uddin, and I'm from Brooklyn and now reside in Queens. I'm a full-stack web developer for Solace. We want to give the users the ability to add or remove users as a friend, and along with commenting on the natural disaster events that appear on the screen. In order to implement that, I had to create tables to store the necessary information and render the information based on the user's request on the front end. Connecting with friends and actively engaging and commenting on a natural disaster event not only cultivates a strong sense of community, but also serves as a way to connect and interact with loved ones during times of crisis. So here's a little demonstration. So on the front end, a user would make the request. So let's say they're making a comment, they would put the comment in, input the comment, and press the send button. When the send button is pressed, it triggers a request to the backend, which will post the input into the backend, and we'll store the information. And on the front end, we render all the information from the database.
This is Solace, and I'm using this platform because I'm concerned about the natural disasters that are occurring around me or affecting my family and friends around the world. So I'll start by allowing my location. On the left-hand side, I can see a list of all natural disasters occurring, when and where they're happening, the type of natural disaster, the severity, and how far they are from me. It looks like I can also leave comments. If I click on a natural disaster, it takes me to that page on the map. And if I click on the event that's occurring, it'll also bring me to a page with more details about that. On the right-hand side, there's also a button here that I can click on. It looks like that's a safety button, so I'm going to sign up and see if I can use that. I also get a feed page on the right-hand side that seems to show the most recent natural disaster, as well as additional details about it and how I can stay safe in that kind of event. We're going to see if I can add anybody. Oh no. It looks like we have an unsafe user here. I'm going to try adding Mo, because I know Mo. I think he lives in South Carolina. It looks like Mo is unsafe. So I'm going to go reach out to him on the comments in South Carolina. And it looks like the most recent comments get displayed as well. On the profile page, I can see my username, and this is where I can log out. It shows my location and coordinates, and it looks like I can update my username here. Okay, and I've just updated my username. I can also remove my friends as well. And this is Solace.